room for a palm back there, I think, or something else. Don't be afraid, show me your phone, it's okay.
I got old school.
Okay. And for the polling today, I do want to say that you can use traditional text messaging, or you can go to this web address on your smart device or on your laptop. What you do is you go to pollf.com/JJM, and then it'll bring up the various polls that I'm going to present. We'll do a test poll to start off with. When it comes to the smart devices, I do like to say that I like to maximize what you already have. So I know you already have a lot of expenses. I started my graduate studies, or my master's work last summer, and so I know how expensive it can get. So if we can use what you already have, I'm all in favor of that. Although I did hear somebody saying that their husband was excited about going out and spending money on an electronic device, so that was it. He already bought it? He already bought it? No? Well, you can send it to me. We can try to make it all work. So the first thing I'm going to do is we'll do this polling. So some of you are already responding. What you'll do is, if you're going to use the traditional phone or send a text message, you'll send a text message to number 22333, and then in the body of the message you'll put your response.
Wait a second, I just get polling.
Try poll.com.
Okay, now you'll allow for those of us who text very slowly, right?
Right. We have a learning curve here. It's all about getting everybody comfortable with technology.
Well, some of us are comfortable with technology, but we're just not fast.
Yeah, when my son's using texting.
Yep.
And once you go to this website on either your smart device, your web browser, or on your computer, as I'm changing the polls, it'll actually update on your device right away, so you'll want to leave your device on.
Okay, so we text a code to we go 22333, and then do we put the numbers in the body of the text, or do we?
Yes, the numbers in the body. So either if you are overwhelmed, you can tell me 339-415. This is in strict confidence, I should tell you. The other thing here is that it is free. If you already have a text messaging plan, you will not get spammed. I will not send you spam and eggs or whatever. And you will not be charged unless you don't have it. And at the very worst, you might pay 20 cents per text message. So I promise I won't sell you information. And
Oh no, I said something that I wasn't.
that may or may not have been you, but now you're kind of messing up the non-disclosure here. So there's only 22 responses here. I know there's more than 22 bodies in the room, and I want to make sure everybody gets a feel for it so that we can, when we're going forward, we can get a good count of where everybody is. 24. Okay. Looks like the majority of you are awake and ready to learn. I'm surprised, given the amount of carbs and starches we gave you for lunch, that you're still awake. Overwhelmed. Okay. I can appreciate that. It's been an intensive 2 days. I know my graduate orientation was 2 days back to back, but we actually went the full day, and I had to drive back as well, so I was kind of overwhelmed, almost ready to leave the program, not just the city. But don't do that to us. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll move forward from here, but at least some of you are getting the hang of it. Is there anybody who's just having problems in general? Okay, let me go and address them. See what's going on. And if you don't know how to send a text message, don't worry, your neighbor, or if you have kids, they know. You know. Oh, if you're recording, with the computer, that's one. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I felt.
And
Well,
then
you know what I
forward
hate
slash.
is, oh, that's a nice little return message we got.
What did it say?
It just said I'll show you.
And if you haven't figured it out by now, Dr. Robinson is a grade A heckler.
Participate.
I like to tease her. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward. And I'll introduce Jesus to my right, and also what it is that we'll be doing today. So this is Jesus Mendoza. He works also as part of the School of Nursing. He came on as part of the grant. His skills were utilized to help introduce some of these same PDAs and help with the training, but now he's moved over to being the webmaster. I know that he's going to want you to become a friend of ours on Facebook and sign up for us with Twitter, so that way we can disseminate information. it's not just hokey. We're not just trying to get friends for the sake of getting the numbers up. We actually use it to send out information, and it also allows you another opportunity to connect with your peers. In my program, I've set it up to where I have my cohort, because we're enrolled in a cohort, and I know immediately when any of them are online, so I can coordinate things with them, or oftentimes, as I say, commiserate with them. So pick which one you prefer to do. And I'll give you our contact information at the end of this. So we'll start talking a little bit about smart devices and what they are. But the first thing I'd like to do is really get a feel for what it is that you'd like to do today. And like I said, if you're following along on the web version of this, you'll see that it updates. It automatically will refresh and give you the options. So what I want to know is when it, oh, I did the wrong one, I apologize. Don't worry. Because I already preset this for what I thought we were going to be doing, but let's talk about the devices. And I know what the Izzy Valley, we'll address that later. Okay, so let's talk about, in terms of what you'd like to learn about the actual devices. Do you want to know how they're used in nursing programs? How to better use them?
I want to pick more than one.
You want to pick more than one? I haven't set it up like that.
I know.
I needed to embrace one identity today.
I can never embrace just one identity.
Okay. Only 6 of you? Come on, guys. Nina, you're allowed to answer too if you need a
Oh, I'm
refreshment.
helping you.
Okay. Okay, so the majority is just how to better use how they are. So what I'll do is I'll modify more, and feel free to continue responding. I'll continue modifying so that we focus more on these 2 things, and I'll brush over the actual devices. When I saw in the room what you guys were using, like I said, many of you are using Droids or iPhones. Some of you might be using, I think I saw a Palm out there. Pardon? A Palm. And that's okay. The software that we recommend runs on all of those, but you can always check before you actually purchase, and there are some instances where you can try the software out before you commit to it. So the other thing I'll mention about this software is that I encourage you, running along the theme of communication, to discuss with your faculty members what is going to be used in the actual class, because it changes from semester to semester. And yes, I know that there are some free references out there, but not all of the free references out there are necessarily good, because they might have a different intent in mind. They might want to sell you ads at the same time, or they may not be evidence-based founded, which is an issue, especially at the graduate level. You want something that's tried and true in research. So let's go ahead and continue going on. And for those of you that are curious about what I'm using, we can talk more about that as well, the poll everywhere. So the PDA, we'll just kind of gloss over this. It's old, used to start for personal digital assistant. It's now really known as a smart device whenever you look at buying anything, which again encompasses the 3 that are here. The one in the middle is a little bit older, but if you come across one maybe from a former student or on sale and you'd like to save some money, and you'd like to have, perhaps continue to have your phone only utilized as a phone, and then maybe have your device only utilized as a reference device, you can do that. Or you can have them all in one. It's just up to you. Some people have different preferences. I know that for the longest time, a lot of the nurses that were in clinical, especially at the NP level, would say that they liked having 2 devices, because if they had to look something up when they got a phone call, it was hard to go up and down and back and forth in terms of having one device, unless you're on the Bluetooth headset. And in many of your cities, it's illegal to talk on your phone, like in the car or what have you. So let's hope you're not doing diagnosis while you're driving 80 miles down the highway. But it happens. The options, again, I'm just going to gloss over. If you have any one of these, odds are it's already good for the programs that we have, especially if there's some of those devices that are Android-based or what's called iOS now. And some of the ones that have kind of been phased out are the Palm devices. I'm sorry, Palm people, but
I'm just waiting until I can get a new phone.
oh, great, they were all on board. HP actually purchased Palm a couple years ago, and now they're phasing out that operating system, which is unfortunate because they were kind of the front runners when it came to providing a system or an operating system for our Skyscape software to work. The features, the reason I like to focus on the features is just to illustrate the fact that your phones are not just phones anymore. And I know I kind of started, getting the basis of this when my father started texting me, and I was like, okay, now everybody's understanding these phones doing more than one thing, because I'm getting text messages and all kinds of things from my father now. But that's the overarching theme, is that they do more than one thing. You can check your email on them. You can use them as a way to organize yourself. I know that somebody mentioned the importance of having a day planner, and in a lot of ways you can have it fully integrated on your phone, color-coded, whatever you want to do, depending on how OCD you are. But that's the nice thing, because you almost always have your phone. You're waiting for your loved ones to call you if they need to, or have that lifeline. But you can also have your schedule. And if I were to show you mine, you'd see I'm maybe mildly OCD, because I have what I have to do today, work-wise and personal, where I'm going to be next week and what have you. And it really works well, especially if you can integrate what you have coming up for your classes. And last but not least, they really pretty much function as miniature computers. That's the power that they are now. Some of these phones are operating, I don't want to get too technical and boring, but some of them are operating at speeds of 2 gigahertz, which is about as fast as what some computers used to be at the fastest level a year or two ago. So they've really come a long way. Continue with the uses. You can use them for everything that's up here. I won't get into it at length. I know some of you will, I think I had this question at the undergraduate level in terms of the references, because they asked us, well, can I just get the references in the digital or EPUB version, like get the Kindle edition or the Nook version? And all of these just stand for different digital versions of books. I would say that if we're talking about references, to get the actual reference, because I'll show you later how they are cross-linked. So if this is the first time that you're using healthcare references and nursing references, you'll really like these features of being able to look at the diagnosis, or if you look at the medication and you're trying to see what its application or its mechanisms of actions or what have you. These are things that you're already used to in practice, but you can see the higher level of it, and also see how they connect across the span. And then last but not least, they may already know they can be used as media players. So they really function as multiple devices and what is often called convergent devices. They do more than one thing. So when it comes to nursing, and you'll have to excuse me because this is a little bit more tailored to what I do with the undergraduate nurses, but it's a good starting point in terms of showing you exactly what it is that they're capable of doing. So if you can think back to when you first started your nursing degree, way back when, for some of you, you can remember a stack of books, references that you guys used to carry, and trying to stick them all in, kind of when I showed that big stack of books, keeping them in your lab coats or what have you, or having to go to a reference desk somewhere on the unit before you were in to go and look something up. Well, things have come a long way, and all those things are now really integrated into digital references that can be right in the palm of your hand, which is where the point of service technology comes in from, and that's the one POS that I will encourage you to use, is the fact that it's point of service technology. So it gives you the power in the clinical, and also when you're doing work outside of the clinic or with groups to look up information. And like I said, a lot of your faculty use it differently. So just try to get in gear with them and see what it is that they're going to be doing. If you need to buy one, I know we only have one person that really needs to go out, or maybe a couple that maybe want to swing for a new one. You can go to all these box stores, or you can go online. If you guys want to buy a phone, I know that you can often buy phones used, so that way you don't have to spring for the new one, or you don't have to go and take out a new contract for something. You can also find them on something like Craigslist, maybe on the used market, or even Amazon has a used section. But if you go the Craigslist route, I don't want you to get into any kind of sketchy or shady situation where you're meeting somebody in a weird alleyway or something. I'd say don't do that. And then Skyscape, of course, does offer the bundling of purchasing the software, and we'll look more at the website a little bit later, as well as offering the device itself. So you can get it all in a one-stop shop. These are some of the recommendations, but we already kind of have belabored this point. If you have any questions in terms of whether your device works, just feel free to come and ask me before you leave today, or you can send me an email, and I'll give you my email address at the end of this presentation. So Skyscape is the actual program that we started with a couple of years ago. And when Dr. Robinson was looking for a program that would work across the curriculum, this was the one that was voted on and was selected. There are some other ones, such as Lexicomp and what's the other one, Dr. Robinson? Hippocrates and
Well, Hippocrates, I just don't recommend. I recommend the Lexicon, although students use Hippocrates, I really do not. The free version is not an okay version. The paid version is okay, but it's not as good as Lexicon. We really want you to use the Lexicon if you're a nurse practitioner. Now, if you're an educator or administrator, maybe the paid Hippocrates would be okay, because they do look at systematic reviews and update the information. And I actually think the information comes out of the UK, but I could be wrong on that.
so it's something it's worth looking into, but I know a lot of these companies, you can go and you can actually see what you're gonna get before you commit to purchasing it. Yes.
I'm sorry. Actually, for educators and administrators, I would recommend for pharmacology, besides what you need for your class, on your smartphone is whatever is used in your facility. Okay, so if you're teaching undergraduate nursing students and they use this Davis's drug guide, put buy Davis's drug guide. Okay, so be smart, because we don't want you to buy something you're not going to use. Nurse practitioners, buy the Lexicon. Thank you, Jonathan.
No, of course, and that's, the whole point here is that we want to make it something you're actually going to use, and something that's going to advance the level of your practice as you're getting further into your studies. Yes, you had a question?
When you say to buy Lexicon, there's like 4 that pop up. How do we know which Lexicon is the one?
We have a customized page for it, so I would say don't feel like you have to go and purchase it today or on Monday. We'll send out an email with the actual link, because whether you're going to go with Skyscape or with Lexicon, we already have pre-arranged pricing that are already discounted off whatever price you're going to get. The only thing I will say about Lexicon, if you're in a situation, maybe you're at a site or a hospital that allows you to have whichever one, or maybe you're going to be the trailblazer and be one of the first to use it, is that Lexicon gives you, I think it's like an actual licensing agreement to use it for a set term. And after that term, you can't access it anymore.
Yeah, you have to do it, you have to renew annually.
You have to renew annually. Skyscape is the same way, and then we'll get a little more into the details of Skyscape, but that's what we'll predominantly touch upon today. But with Skyscape, when you purchase it, you have the use of the application or the reference that you purchase for as long as you have it on your device. The only exception is that within whatever subscription you buy, after that subscription term, you're no longer eligible for free updates. And the free updates come in handy because unlike a book or a reference that you go and purchase today, which may be out of date 6 months from now, the upgrading ability allows you to upgrade automatically every time there's a new edition, which I think is a really nice feature in terms of you buy it today and it's a 5th edition, and at the end of the semester it's a 6th edition. As long as your timeline is still within that year of subscription, you automatically can get that update. That's one of the nice things about Skyscape if you're considering the two and you have the option. Okay. Go ahead.
Back to Lexicon. Usually, Lexicon is a company, they have, and you can buy just the APN pharmacology guide, or they have an excellent advanced diagnostics. And so we usually recommend I like the bundle. There's a bundle of 3. But like Jonathan said, we'll send you out the link so you can look at those.
So you want to take an opportunity to go ahead and write down the link for Skyscape at the bottom. I actually have that one today. And just feel free to write it down. Right now we'll go to the page together so we can look at it and see what the options are. But it is www.skyscape.com/UTEP SON, all one word. I think most have gotten it. Let me go ahead and visit the site and I'll put it back up shortly. So when we go to the site, this is exactly what you see. You see that this is our customized page. At the very top, we see the undergraduate. And then we start seeing everything delineated in terms of what is recommended and then the optional. So we have it based on graduate, NP, NP, and then for each one of the different concentrations, you have your own different subset. So what I would say is that when you go in here and you want to see a little bit more about what it is that you'd be getting, let's say we're going to click on Davis's drug guide. If we click on it, then it shows me the option, or all the options available for this particular reference. And today it seems like maybe it could be that everybody's accessing it right now or accessing something similar. So it's not wanting to open up with any speed. Let me try another one. I'll give it some time.
So what happens if you update your cell phone?
Good question. What happens if you update your cell phone? So what happens is if it gets lost, I like to say lost, broken, or stolen because that's normally what happens or outdated. If it gets lost, broken, or stolen within your subscription period, because you can buy it for 1 year, 2 years, different times, you can always call the company because what happens is it becomes affiliated with one device and it works only on that one device. But if anything happens within that time of your subscription period, you can always call the company and say, this happened, can you please unlock it so that I can put it onto my new device? And they're usually pretty sympathetic if like I said, they get lost, broken, or stolen. But if you want to upgrade, you might run into a little bit of a problem there. So it looks like the drug guide opened up. We see the description. So if you're kind of wanting to go out and see something you might want to purchase day one today and start using maybe in practice when you get back to work, this would be a nice consideration. And at the very top right-hand corner, you'll see that it shows you all of the options, and I'll zoom in on this so we can see it large. So we see that this particular one is supported with Android, for the Android platform, the BlackBerry, the iPhone, or all the Apple devices, even Palm, and then there's even a desktop version. The only thing I'll say about the different Apple devices is that if you have an iPad, it probably wouldn't be as easy to carry this into clinic, and I would probably advise against that. If the iPad is your primary method of getting online or something like that, or if what you're going to use it primarily for is for studying, then maybe it'll make sense. But otherwise, I would try to keep it with a handheld device.
Although, I had 3 students during the summer who had an iPad and they did fine. They just had big pockets. But they didn't
It's a big one.
Right, and there's also the new tablets that, if you wear scrubs, the tablet fits not really nice into your leg pocket.
So there, of course, different technologies are coming out all the time, so it just depends on what operating system you're most comfortable with already. Yes?
Because I have an iPhone, and I know that I'm I guess, under apps, for the Taylor Encyclopedia, for the Davis Drug Guide, is that the same, that we're just getting a cheaper price because we're going through UTEP, or
Yes.
is that just completely different?
Which, your Tabers through Skyscape or through where?
No, just as an app.
As an app?
Through the App Store.
Okay. She's asking if you find like a Tabers or a Davis drug guide in the Android market or in the App Store, if it's the same thing as what we have. It's probably going to be found in the same as what the publishers are putting out. But we'll see right now when we transition over to how the actual references work on Skyscape, how they're different. So the content is probably the same, but the way that they interact within one program is going to be different. And that'll be real apparent right now when we connect it.
And I'd be wary of, if you can get an app for $4.99 when, then it's probably not going to be as interactive or have as much information. But like Jonathan says, you just need to investigate. And the only reason we don't recommend iPods and big things in the clinic is that you always need to carry with you because people like to pick up your smartphone devices or your smart devices and walk around. It's not that we don't recommend it, it's just that you need to be safe, be aware of safety.
And the other thing I will mention with the, if you find something on the App Store on the Android market versus something that purchasing it through Skyscape, is the fact that it might be tweaked again. It might only be like a light version, and if you start needing it for higher level things, it might block your access for that. A couple days ago, I was with one of the faculty, and they were showing me a free resource that they came through. I think it was sponsored through WebMD or something like that. So a really good source but it's probably more consumer based. It's probably more for the consumer, what I would call the consumer hypochondriac who wants to know about their meds and things that they probably can read, but they don't necessarily have the education to really understand what it's going to be doing. And so as a provider, yes, you could use it, but it's not going to behoove you, is what I'm trying to say. So at this point, are there any questions before we go into the demonstration of Skyscape and the other ones?
Real quick, just to make sure I understood, these purchases are for a year only.
And they are different, yes. Each one of them, with the Skyscape, you get, within that year, you get free updates.
Okay.
After that period, it's going to send tagging you saying, hey, your subscription has expired, but you'll still be able to use the program.
Okay, so you still have the old edition.
Right, with
available.
Skyscape.
Okay,
Exactly. With LexiComp, it completely shuts down.
Okay.
And it's just the different ways that the companies deal with it. Okay, so I'm going to jump over to an iPad. See, it's okay for me because I'm not in clinic. I'm just teaching. I'll give it a second to okay, there's my camera. So I'm just going to go for Skyscape. We're going to open it up. The nice thing about the Apple softwares or the way the Skyscape is written is that it's pretty much going to look the same on the device. The interface is very similar. It's all going to be touch. You can search. Even on the BlackBerry, it looks similar. And on here, it's been optimized for the iPad. So as you can see, I don't have an array of resources. I really don't need them, but I just download the ones for example. So if I want to look into RX drugs, then I could go in here and you can start seeing the various master listing. The way that these work, the main navigation is that you'll see whatever is relevant displayed here in the middle. Up to the top right-hand corner is where you can see the different ways that things are listed. So if you want to see an index based on trade names, or this will always be what I would consider a soft key. It changes based on the program that you're in. So if for some reason I wanted to go into trade names, I could go in here and then I could search for something like Advair. And then it would come up, and I could get the information. I could look for the inhaled version. And then at the top right-hand corner, under sections, I could start looking up the usage, the dosing, mechanisms of action, any kind of interactions, and all the way down. How many of you, just by a show of hands, are already using some type of electronic reference in practice? Okay, couple. So about 10% or so, maybe a little bit less. How many of you are seeing the usefulness of something like this right now? Okay, this is great. This is great because it really takes the place of having to leave the bedside, go down the hall and look up something rather than just being able to do it right there. I know that the social what am I trying to say here? The social perspective of what that means sometimes being with the patient and being on your cell phone is that, oh, they're not paying attention to me. But sometimes you can really make it a good opportunity to interject those patient teaching moments where you're saying, well, I'm getting information, I'd like to give you this. And it really empowers you to allow yourself to give that information. The other nice thing about these programs is that when they were first released, you had to always have an internet connection to utilize them. And now they understand that some of you are in a basement or in a hospital with 5-foot concrete walls, so they work without having an internet connection, which is really great. And then when you need to update them, you just get the internet connection going and they'll self-update. In fact, they'll alert you when there are scheduled updates. So when we're looking at this, the feature that I really like, and you may not see it, but it's right here at the bottom, is the linking. So if we're looking at Advair, and this is only going to display the other references that I purchased. Let's say I had diseases and disorders. I could then click on that option and it would show me a list of diseases and disorders where Advair might be a good option. So of course, like for asthma. Did you have a question, Esther?
No.
Okay. So that's a nice thing. You can always go backwards. If you find a disease and disorder, you can pick that and then go and look for under the drug guide for something that could be utilized. And within all of them, you can always go back and forth. And it's whenever you add that new program that they automatically become linked when you've added the new reference. Okay, so now we've looked at the various ways that it works. Are there any questions so far? The other nice thing is that at the master level, you'll probably find it handy to have the Archimedes, which is basically a master index of various either like dosage calculations on here. You can do simple things like BMI, and all you would do is go and look it up in terms of what it is that you're wanting to look or do. And then you just enter your information, and it even has the latest, not that this has changed anytime soon, it tells you within the ranges of BMIs. But most of you probably have these scales probably somewhere in clinic, so it doesn't make a difference. But it's nice to have these, again, at your fingertips. At this point, unless there's any specific questions, yes?
One quick question, if you have a a smartphone and you have an iPad, can you purchase on one and sync it to the other, or would it be separate purchases?
They're going to be separate purchases, because what happens is, and she was asking one in one, if I have an iPad and an iPhone, can I have it on both? Unfortunately, Skyscape doesn't allow you to do that. It installs itself directly to the device, and it uses the device serial number to kind of create that relationship. So unfortunately, no, that's why we try to get you to pick one device, preferably your cell phone. And the other nice thing is that you can always use your cell phone, especially getting used to accessing it to look at things like, I think it was a PubMed they're looking at, and there's another one that I know the ACNPs are using with Dr. Lambert occasionally. Dr. Robertson, what's the one that Dr. Lambert uses? Access Medicine. Most of the time those work also on some of your small devices. Of course, if it's a high amount of text, it's going to be a little bit intense to read all. So, we go ahead and jump back to the laptop. And if at any point you guys have any questions, you can always contact us and say, this isn't working or what have you. But Skyscape also has their own support that is integrated when you purchase any one of the references. My computer is not cooperating.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have any tricks or suggestions for extending battery life? I have a real problem with my phone just trying to complete.
Sure.
And I'm not sure what exactly it is that I'm doing that's causing it to discard quickly.
I think you have a valid point. If you're using an iPhone or an Android,
It's an Android.
okay. She's just asking about what can you do to extend battery life, and that's one of the things with these smartphones is that sometimes they have long-lasting batteries, but they also use a lot of juice throughout the day. One of the things you can do is look into your settings for your various wireless settings, like turning off the Wi-Fi, especially when you're not using it. Like if you're in hospital, when you're at the clinic or you're at some site, if you don't have a Wi-Fi, you don't necessarily need it on. Some phones are smart enough to turn themselves that Wi-Fi portion off, so it's not always searching for a Wi-Fi network, but others always stay on looking for a network, so that's what drains the battery. The second thing is turning off your Bluetooth functionality, especially if you're not using it. If you're not using the headset, don't have it on, because it will also drain the battery. And double checking your location-based services, because a lot of these phones have integrated GPS. That's what allows you to hit Google Maps and find where you are on any map and to show you what's in proximity. But sometimes various programs or apps are continually recording that information. Not as a way to like, they're invading your privacy, but if you open some of these programs like Facebook or something like that, sometimes you're just trying to see where you are, so when you want to check in or do something like that. But you can get very specific, especially on the iPhones and the Droids, to say, I don't really want this program to have the GPS or location services enabled, or I don't want this one, you can turn it off. Or or you can turn it off altogether. And what other things like you recommend?
Also, I've seen that some of my friends had the HTC Evo and they were having a lot of trouble with the battery, and what they did is they actually bought a bigger battery for the phone. The downside for that is that your phone will be a little chubbier, but that's also another option.
The other option that I have mine, because I have an Android, you can go on through the applications and download an application called Task Killer
Oh yeah.
and hit that, and it will kill like the programs that run in the background, and just kill them a couple times a day, and that'll.
Yeah, it's true. It also works on
They
the
start themselves.
yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the full
I have a
everywhere.
question
Yes, of course.
before we move on. On my phone, I keep getting a pop-up that says there's a upgrade on my Samsung battery. Do I want to believe that? And my phone does run kind of slow, and it does, the battery loses juice. So do I want to believe that pop-up, or
But is it a text message or is something from the phone?
it's a pop-up? So when I have some games and free apps on this, so when I'm on those free apps or on the games, it'll pop up. I have a pop-up that says your battery is, and I always ignore those pop-ups because,
I don't know. I can check into that
okay,
later. Yeah.
thank you, Jesus. This is why I love them, they keep me up to date, I don't have time to do that anymore.
And when it comes to that, I don't want to incite mass hysteria, but there are some instances where, especially on the Android platform, there have been some instances of malware or some viruses. So you kind of want to, it sounds like a lot of work, but maybe go to the manufacturer's website and see if those updates are legitimate. Because sometimes you can always keep track and see them to see if they're really something that is valid. Because sometimes you accidentally download an application and it's trying to take sensitive information from there. Okay, so for those of you that are introverts, you can always send me your questions right now. At this point, we can discuss them in the public forum. If not, I'll go ahead and I'll move on to just kind of see how you guys are feeling now in terms of devices. I know that we've glossed over a lot of what we were doing just because I want to be sensitive to the time constraints. So it looks like we're good here. I'll send out an email later with my contact information and Jesus's, and then that way we can get back to you if you have any concerns. So I just want to see where you guys are now at this point, and if you're still following along with the poll, I'm going to clear the results on this one. This is from the last time. And that way I can see where you guys are now. In terms of if this presentation was helpful, I just cleared it, so if you sent something in the beginning, I'll have to go ahead and send it back to me again, just to be on the safe side. How many of your computers are still following along or refreshing? They might time out from our Wi-Fi network if it hasn't been used in a while.
Mine refreshed, but I'm responding.
Okay.
Coming.
And the thing about a session like this is that there's so many different softwares to cover in one sitting. So I'd like to go ahead and just introduce you to some of the ones that we are using and the major ideas. That way you can go back and integrate them. Installing on your device is easier than it used to be, or I'll say a little bit more user intuitive in that you can actually download the application Skyscape directly, like the Master House program from Skyscape, and it will install into your device. And then you can purchase your references from the customized website that we have to get the discount, and then they will come over to your phone whenever you are with the Wi-Fi network or any internet connection. That's one thing that I will really recommend to everybody is that when you're installing these applications, if you're doing it on your phone to download them, make sure you're on the Wi-Fi network. Go down to your local Starbucks if you don't have one at home, or connect at the home computer. At the home environment. Because if you're using your data plan, some of these programs could really start eating into that data, and then you'll see some overages. And I know that some people are a little bit concerned, and there's a learning curve to all these devices, but just relax. We're here to help, and we can make it all work for you. So, are there any other questions with regard to smart devices or PDAs or Skyscape or Lexicon? Yes.
I know this might be a silly question, and maybe you answered it, but what is the purpose? I mean, who uses the poll everywhere? Like, when do we use this? When do we?
Oh, Poll Everywhere is just what I'm using for our presentation.
Okay.
That had nothing to do. Nothing, it's just something I use, but
Okay.
Okay, however, you will be asked to do a lot of voiceover presentations because, and so you might want to use the poll. I mean, or if you want to do an Illuminate session with all of your classmates, I mean, or if you want to use it in your own work, you know, so it's just another tool. Jonathan's very good at finding tools for us to use.
yeah, the reason I use this, and I'll touch upon this just because I think it's a really neat software and it's something that you can really use at the master level. Even if you're, what degree concentration are you in?
ACNP.
ACFP, okay. You might not be in a situation where you're going to be doing a lot of education at the hospital, but even if you have one presentation and you want to keep the interaction with your audience, it really helps. And the nice thing is that when I first wanted to do this, we have clickers here. But those clickers went on batteries, and then you have to connect to the computer, and it's just a mess. There were 200 clickers with 2 AA batteries, and 90% of them were drained, so I thought, there has to be something out there. This is one of those moments where you think you're having a dream, and you're like, there has to be something out there that does what I want. And sure enough, you get on the internet, and I found this. It's free to take up to 40 responses, and the nice thing is, if you start thinking about this, for those of you that are, everybody here is an online curriculum for the most part, if you integrate your poll everywhere into a presentation, it doesn't matter where they are. If you want to have in real time how people are responding, if you have a slide in your presentation that says, what's your experience with XYZ, you can take that and you can use that as information that's data driven. So if you're writing a paper or what have you, you actually have real responses. And you could have your audience self-identify if you wanted to see, well, I'm from South Texas, I'm from Central Texas. So that's the power of this poll everywhere, is that it doesn't have to be local, it's all over. The other nice software to start using is really getting used to that Illuminate, because as a student you can become a moderator and you can take audience responses. And you'd be surprised, you can take in people that are outside from here. So let's say if you're doing a presentation on something particular and you want an expert person that you just happen to get into, kind of become your co-mentor or your mentor. If they're in a completely different city, or they say, well, I'm only going to be at home, you can still have them join you and fill in and give information and kind of co-teach the information, because that's where you guys are going towards. So it's really about leveraging the technology that you guys have and getting comfortable with them. And I try to stop saying that things are easy. A lot of things now are user intuitive, and for those of you that are on Macs, I like to always say that they won you over because they are easy to use or a little more intuitive, but that's how a lot of the software is going to, even Windows 7 and everything else. But don't be afraid to ask us questions or your neighbors, or get on the discussion boards and just ask how something works, because it's only going to help you in practice and in your studies. So, yes, of course.
Yesterday, I don't remember who, you mentioned Firefox interface with Blackberry? So if we have Firefox, do we uninstall it, or?
No, well, you know, one of the faculty said that, but I think based on the presentation earlier, you just need to make sure, I can see who's playing games here. You just need to make sure that you have the edition that is recommended. So you just go through that before you begin module that's in every single course, and make sure you have the right edition.
Okay, so that pretty much concludes the portion on the smart devices. Let me get back and give you my email address. It's not coming up with my presentation, but we can always work around that. Okay, so here's my email address whenever you have a question. And I used to put my phone number, but I gotta be honest, I'm really bad about getting back to people via phone, so email is really the best one. And if you need to call Jesus, he's really good about checking his phone and his email, so there's his information. And we can take any question, whether it's, my computer's not working, what happened? I mean, we'll even publish it with you on those, all the way to, I just got any devices that can work with the program. One of the questions that came from another presentation was, if we can use Windows mobile phones,
The new Windows Phone.
the new version. Right now, it's not supported by Skyscape, so that's why we recommend either the Droid or the iPhone. They're pretty much the mainstays in our here to work. So, you guys have the information? I'm sure you'll have to get it when you get back home. And thank you for your time.